What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Time for a little bit of fringe education, a little bit of fact finding when it comes to what's happening around Alberta, what's happening when it comes to the independence of Alberta. In fact, a lot of people have been questioning many things that we yet don't have the answers to. In fact, a lot of people are saying this is uncharted territory because the movement of independence for Alberta. There's independence talks for Saskatchewan. I know rumblings going on that Manitoba's jumping on board. British Columbia, up until about Vancouver, has joined the fray as well. Their numbers, in fact, have increased in the last year. And those who wish to talk about some form of independence from the federal government, the questions have arisen multiple times. And I've seen it on social media saying, what happens to passports? What happens to being landlocked? What happens to our jobs, our currency, our military, our healthcare? What happens to our pension plans? A number of questions are added daily. I've tried my best to educate the answers to those questions. One of the most important ones that I see a lot of pushback from when it comes to folks in the East that are saying, you can't leave, you're never going to be allowed to leave. I've often said that one of the biggest misconceptions that Albertans have, at least the ones who are on the fence, the ones who aren't sure yet if they would want to vote yes on independence. The big question comes of, well, how much money would we have for healthcare? How much money would we have to fund our own police force, to get projects off the ground? I'm here today to show you a little bit of fringe math as to how that would work and why it's so important to consider Alberta independence, where the benefits lie. This tweet coming out from Brendan Miller is the following is 2014 to 2024 combined federal tax, Canada Pension Plan, and EI contributions of Alberta for each year with federal transfer back to the Alberta government in brackets. This is what we pay out versus what we get back. So think about this from a standpoint, and again, it's not about politics at this point. When people say, well, you're just mad that Pierre lost, or you can't handle more liberal governments, this is the argument to pose that, again, where I'm baffled is so many people who say, well, I don't want to leave, and I understand you feel like a traitor to your country, you feel like you're turning your back on Canada. But when you look at these figures, does it not make more sense if it means better lifestyle for everybody, if it means more affordability, if it means more money to be used for the programs that the federal government has already ignored to give us or passed off to give us? Take a look at what Brendan Miller shows out here. Again, the money that we get back is in brackets. 2014, $25.5 billion. We got 5.3 back. 2015, 28 billion, 5.5 back. 2016, 28 billion, 6.05 back. We get 28.5 billion all the way up to 2018, and it averages between 5.5 to 6.3 billion dollars. 2019, we gave $31.5 billion to the federal government, 6.5 came back. So a $3 billion jump, and we only got 0.2 billion back on that one. Then in 2020, we gave $30.5 billion. We got 10.5 back. 2021, 31.5, 9.2 back. 22, 35.5, 8.1 back. You can see the numbers. You can see them on the screen. Obviously, you can read. I'm trying to make a point here. Only a fraction of it comes back to Alberta. The following is the total revenue of the government of Alberta from 2014 to 2024 for each year before federal transfer has been added. So take a look at this here. Now keep in mind that if we were to declare independence in Alberta, look at all the revenue. And this is just from current, this is with emission caps, this is with the no new pipelines bills, this is with caps on everything. 44.7 billion, 43.5, 38.95, 41, 41, 43, 37, 40. Then in 2022, 68, 69, 71. Keep in mind, these were the Danielle Smith end of the NDP era, Jason Kenney, trying to get our products to market. But the last few years, it's gone all the way up to 68, 69, 71 billion, which means it's only going up from here, folks. Now, this is all money Alberta would keep. This is before federal transfer. So down here, he's also got, if the government revenue obtained from Albertans remained the same but went directly to the Alberta government alone, the revenue of that government between 2014 and 2024 would have been 70.2, 71.5, 66.9, 69.5, 70.2, 75 billion, 68 billion, 72 billion, 104 billion, 107, 113. Sorry, I haven't scrolled down enough. It's going up. So when people here say you wouldn't have the money for healthcare, you wouldn't have the finances for infrastructure, for a police force, for military, for anything, I'm pretty sure when you look at these figures, it starts to make sense, doesn't it? When you think about, somebody called me out and said, you said that a lot of head offices would move to Alberta if they declared independence. Well, if the tax wasn't there, and look at the first comment, now add GST. Of course, Brendan Miller says GST is in the federal contribution. But when we talk about GST, what's attractive to those head offices is that Alberta, with this kind of revenue, would be a very little to non-existent taxation. That companies could come here and thrive. We'd see job development. We'd see very low unemployment rates. The big question, when you look at these figures to these figures, why are we giving all this money to the federal government? Why are we throwing it all over here so that the federal government can go on their private jets around the world? They can eat their caviar. They can fine dine. We can pay for Justin Trudeau's housing and his groceries, now Mark Carney's, even Pierre Poilievre's while he lives in his home. That's all paid for by us. We can pay for healthcare where we're told we have to wait months on end to see a doctor because there's no resources. There's no funding. There's no adequate funding for our healthcare system. Unions are wrecking the healthcare system. A number of things that are tied to the federal government. Again, I'm not asking Canadians why they're not quick to turn around and vote yes for independence. But when you put the dollar figure, when you follow the money, when you look at what could be for this province if we got away from the federal government, the question I have to ask from this video is, does it not make it look a little easier to make that decision when you look at those figures? Does it not make you think about just how much waste goes out the window? Now, keep in mind, this is before we even talk about interprovincial, meaning NGOs, funding that has gone out to those outlets, municipal levels, provincial levels. It's not just this money. This is just the federal government's take. But if Alberta were to declare independence, it would free up a whole lot of money. It would open the doors to endless possibilities. And while I'll say again, and a lot of people think that I'm just spewing it for the sake of spewing it, I'm a Canadian. I love Canada. But I want a future for my children. I want a secure future for my family. And if the federal government isn't going to give it to us, what else are we supposed to do? Is the real question. Let me know your thoughts down below. When it comes to these figures, were you aware that this is the amount of money that is given with very little back? Were you aware that this is the potential that Alberta could have? And do you want to see more videos like this to educate on the statistics, on the finances, on any of the questions that have been asked? Let me know down below in the comments if you're enjoying these videos when we're talking about Alberta independence. Make sure if it's your first time here, hopefully the video has earned your subscription. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on your bell for all notifications so that you don't miss a beat anytime a new video drops on this channel, because it's not just Alberta we cover, it's all of Canada as well. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show, where I'll sit down with the beautiful Mrs. Fringe as we talk about everything coming from across the country in terms of politics and everything we know that's coming up ahead. We also chat with you guys, the best YouTube community on the platform, to hear what you have to say inside of those live streams. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and I most look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.